So I'm Gagan Sethi, and I am the founder of several organizations in India. The main one, which is an incubator called Jan Vikas, but here I am currently the chair of the Rainfed RRA. When you want to look at policy agendas, a single organization can't influence policy. A single type of organization can't influence policy. So you need universities, you need research institutions, you need farmers and their experience, you need civil society which does research on the ground and has shown best practices. All this has to come together to build a coherent argument, and you can't, you can show them at scale, not just in one district, but not just in one state, but across states. Now, when everybody, after trying individually, realize that till the policy changes, you'll have to keep, civil society will have to keep pumping in resources. Ultimately, you need to change policy to get government to pump its resources, because it's a job, it's its duty to be sensitive to what we call real development issues and real deficit issues where they should plug in. And that's why this can only be done in a network approach, where you bring in different types of stakeholders together in the area of agriculture, animal husbandry, forestry, markets, research institutions, or thematics like fisheries, converging and yet agreeing to a larger national policy. This can only be done through a network approach. The network approach is then therefore based on how do you bring people's voices, validate their experiences through research, bring in the best specialists to sort of give alternatives, and then you build cases or, as I said, good public argument. So network can't be managed, they need to be facilitated, and therefore they need a very different type of governance than what normally organizations are needed. And therefore, in that sense, on the other hand, you are using large resources, donors are giving you resources, you need to have an accountability system. So putting all this together, RRAN therefore evolved from, just a group of people doing some experiments to a large system today with a very sophisticated implementation system, governance system, but built ownership of the whole process at the state level, at the thematic level, and yet to be able, since you're using resources, to be able to build an architecture, not a structure. So the network has an architecture where there is mutual accountability, you have a system of planning which is bottom up and not somebody giving a good idea and saying, now do it. Organizations are independent. How do you make them interdependent over policy issues? So they also become the people who do the research. In all this, again, if you just leave it to organizations to network, it has been seen that such networks need strong facilitation secretariats. And also, organizations on the ground are busy implementing. How do you build an advocacy agenda or a public policy agenda? So then we realized after about the first round that one of the things we need to invest in is bring in young people, because there are a lot of experienced people who spend 20, 30 years and have specific ideas about specific things. So the young professional program then was part of the RRAN's design to prepare policy advocates, researchers, but those who then sit in the thematic and the state networks to see that the agenda is continuously egged on. And therefore, this program was therefore held by Center for Social Justice, which has been in the space of training public policy advocates using law. And therefore, we took young, bright people from all over the country. They get systematically trained in their role as network coordinators, as network facilitators, as well as public advocates. And I think that was the biggest sort of, in one sense, it was a game changer in the whole program, because now state level thematic networks had one person who was continuously pushing for that issue. And on the other hand, we got information from them at the meta level, so we also knew what was happening on the ground. So they've played a very interesting role. Flip side is, we are investing in human capital who understand the concept of rain-fed, because universities are training agriculture scientists, in silos. This is far more holistic training that they get, but the training is not classroom training. They go to the field, do something, come back, reflect, they're given inputs, they go back. So it's a very interesting program, which I think is a network facilitation and advocacy innovation in how to facilitate powerful networks. When you move out of big dams, you move out of this kind of large monocropping, you move into sustainable farming, you directly impact what is today the biggest issue in this world, is that you are over-consuming, the way you are pulling out groundwater, the way you are changing courses of rivers, the way you are marauding the earth just to become producers. We are too late. I think RRAN in that sense brings life to not to overconsumption, but to live sustainably as a world. I think it contributes to that thought in a very big way.